Welcome back to Eliances Heroes, where heroes in business align. To be part of our super community and find out more about Eliances, visit www.Eliances.com. Now, back to our super host, David Kogan, founder of Eliances.
That's right, and we're back with Chris Luithly, who is the advisory board member with Direct Source Wealth. You can reach him at directsourcewealth.com/hero or call him at 877-756-8323. Chris, you have a passion, really, for helping others change their lives financially, and you volunteer your time to teach others how to eliminate installment debt and become better with their resources. How do you do this? What's some of the core secrets to that?
David, thanks so much for asking that question. That is a passion of mine, and it's something that almost 30 years ago, in fact, actually 30 years ago, I started teaching that. As I am naturally a saver, coming from a background of limited financial means, I understood early on that, boy, this is important. It's important in the lives of other people. And I started teaching it predominantly in churches. I saw people around me in the military taking on credit card debt, taking on risks that they shouldn't, to buy things they didn't really need, when, buying new cars when a used car would have been a better option for them. As I saw the need, my heart went out to those people, and I kind of developed my own lesson where I taught people how to, one, the most important thing is to get control of their spending, and then to start determining how they can eliminate those items of credit card debt that were absolutely keeping them in just buried to where they couldn't make forward progress in their financial future.
And again, you've owned 93 homes. You've been transitioning and selling and moving things into Direct Source Wealth. That can be reached at directsourcewealth.com/hero. But why real estate versus stocks, bonds, all the, I guess we could say, traditional things that we hear more about?
That's a great question, David, and I started that way. I will tell you that when I entered the Air Force Academy to go to college, I literally entered there with the clothes on my back, and I left behind in my hometown of northeastern Oregon, Elgin, Oregon, and northeast Oregon, a car that I had blown the engine on, which was basically worth nothing. So I started there. So right out of the Air Force Academy, I started investing and did exactly what I tell somebody not to do. Investing in loaded mutual funds, I got lucky. It actually performed okay. But then as I found that I had a passion for understanding more about finances, and I studied, I started to learn that the people selling me these things didn't know as much about the companies as I did. And then I transitioned into trading individual stocks, and that was fun for a while. But I found that also was kind of a job as well. You're kind of tied to following these companies. And what triggered me to switch from mutual funds, eventually stocks, and into real estate was a lesson I'll never forget. One week, I had my children at spring break down in near Gatlinburg, Tennessee. I wasn't paying attention to the stocks, and I had a particular company during the week that dropped from 13 down to 9, from Monday at 13, Friday at 9. So I went online to all the things I could check to find out why this company was declining. Absolutely no information. Well, guess what? On Monday, they declared bankruptcy and opened up at 4. And in my mind, that cemented that somebody on the previous Monday, when it was at 13, someone was trading and tipped that stock down to 9, and I had none of that information available to me. And I decided it was time to take control where I was not at the risk of people that had the information that I didn't have, and I had much more control and much better sustainable long-term returns through real estate.
I would have had a heart attack. I mean, just, for that stock to have gone there, and again, you're right, not knowing, so, wow. Now, you're both a client, which is amazing, and the advisory board member now with Direct Source Wealth. Once again, I want to make sure, because we're getting people that we want to make sure they know the site to go to, which is directsourcewealth.com/hero. And they can call at 877-756-8323. How does your mission and Direct Source Wealth mission align together?
Oh, it is exactly the same mission. In addition to what I talked about earlier in terms of teaching basic finances for church, helping people get out of debt, I've helped almost 100 individual investors get started in my market, in where I, help them, in that building block process of going from zero to owning rental properties. So I always have a passion for helping people improve their lives financially, and that's perfectly aligned with the mission of Direct Source Wealth, which is led by Kira Golden and her vision to invest right alongside with people, to where our intentions, our results are aligned, our desired results are aligned, that we all win together or we don't win. And that, I love that concept of helping people to improve their lives, so that those missions are completely intertwined.
And again, you're listening to me, David Kogan, host of the Eliances Hero Show. Make sure you go to Eliances.com. That's ELIANCES.com, the only place where entrepreneurs align. And we're speaking with Chris Luithly, an advisory board member with Direct Source Wealth. You could reach him at directsourcewealth.com/hero, or go to 877-756-8323. He had 93 single-family homes, of which he's been selling, and he's down to, I think, 4 or 5 of them, and moving it into Direct Source Wealth. Now, Chris, when you look at the various projects that Direct Source Wealth has, how do you know, for you, which projects that you decide to go, as you mentioned, co-invest with?
Well, it's very simple. One, I like to take it. I'm a math guy. I invest by the numbers. What is the return going to be? Commensurate with the known risks. You can't ever know all of the risks that are involved, but I see the projections. I see the underlying fundamentals. I see the aligned strategies with the co-investment, that you're not being pitched this by somebody who doesn't also have skin in the game. They have their own dollars on the table. It gives me great confidence to select those projects. And all of it, some of are more growth-oriented. Some are more just straight lending with a defined return. But I found that I have had very good success on all of the Direct Source projects that I've been involved with.
What advice would you have? We have many listeners out there that have acquired wealth, they have money, and they're just not sure really what to do with it, because like you mentioned, you tried the stocks and the mutual funds and that, and they're just, very cautious. What suggestions would you have for them to really get to know Direct Source Wealth, to be able to do their research before, being able to move forward? I mean, is the best thing to go ahead and call and meet with someone, or go to the website? Maybe you could talk to us a little bit about your research that you did prior to investing with them and now becoming an advisory board member.
Excellent question. And I would say that, one, there are great videos and testimonials available on their website. Second, they have great relationship managers that can talk to them individually, one-on-one. And third, sometimes you just got to take, maybe toe dip, not a huge amount, but get started with the minimum they require to get an investment and see how it works. Maybe they don't move the portfolio of 93 homes all over at once, the way I've gotten to. And in fact, I started with a, kind of a toe dip, and then worked from there. And then I want to back up to something you asked me earlier about how I met and got started with Kira Golden. We started on that phone call where she was asking my opinion on something, and I was happy to do that, as I'm always want to be helpful. And the thing I figured out in about 30 seconds on that call with Kira is that I didn't have anything that I was going to be able to add. She was, I am so impressed by her knowledge, her vision, and the direction that she has taken the company.
And I think, Chris, it certainly says a lot because you went from being a client to now working, and you've seen both sides of it. You love what you're doing. Chris, you help people and you help direct the path of direct source wealth and being an advocate for time freedom and financial freedom and helping so many. That's a hero, and thank you for serving our country. Chris from Direct Source Wealth. You can reach him at directsourcewealth.com/hero or call him at 877-756-8323. David Kogan with Eliances.
You have been listening to Eliances Heroes, where heroes in business align. Eliances is the destination for entrepreneurs, investors, CEOs, inventors, leaders, celebrities, and startups. To present your superpower, visit www.Eliances.com. Welcome back to Eliances Heroes, where heroes in business align. To be part of our super community and find out more about Eliances, visit www.Eliances.com. Now, back to our super host, David Kogan, founder of Eliances.
That's right. I'll tell you, we just had, are you ready for this? The founder and CEO of the HR Company, hrcompanystore.com. But let's get started, too, with our next hero. And by the way, too, thank you for the feedback we continue to have from having the chairman of Yum Brands, Pizza Hut, KFC, Taco Bell, all the places that we all eat at. Well, we had the chairman, so make sure you check out the segment at Eliances.com, Eliances.com, the only place where entrepreneurs align. Well, we've got our next hero, Chris Luithly. That's right. He is the advisory board member with Direct Source Wealth. Now, I fly in for this show, but our next hero, Chris, well, he's been vice commander in the Air Force. And like I mentioned, he is with directsourcewealth.com/hero. Now, Chris, how did you become involved with Direct Source Wealth?
Well, about 3 years ago on a real estate website, I met the CEO and founder, Kira Golden of Direct Source Wealth, and she was posting some really excellent content. And I just said, this is somebody I need to know. And I sent a colleague request, which linked us. And then she then proceeded to invite me to have a phone conversation to discuss what she was doing with Direct Source Wealth and get my opinion on a project she was working. And we had that phone conversation. And as they say, things are history. We've been moving forward and doing things together ever since.
Now, you had a great real estate portfolio prior to becoming and joining Direct Source Wealth. What are a couple of the secrets that you've learned along the way in regards to real estate?
In real estate, some great things. Yes, my wife and I own 93 single-family homes. And my number one thing that I will say about having a portfolio of single-family home, the number one most important thing is the property management company. If you want to have a life that you actually can control, you need to have a good property management company. And we actually had a couple of different starts in real estate. In 2003, we picked up some 8 duplexes. And we got the homes before we got a property management company. And about 6 months in, we both said, this is not it. So we bailed on that. And then in 2008, when the market just was crashing, we said, there are great opportunities here. But what I learned from what I call round one was that I don't care if they're giving homes away. I'm not interested unless I have a property management company that can take care of all of the details. And in doing so, the second time around, before we ever looked at a house, we actually interviewed property management companies and selected a property management company before we proceeded to then build our portfolio of homes.
Can you imagine what you must have learned from when you first bought your first home to when you've purchased your 93rd home? I
Oh
mean,
my! So yes.
and
Uh,
I mean, share with us some of the things that you'd learned from that point one to 93. 93 seems like a lot of homes.
It certainly is, and there ends up being a lot to take care of. Even with a great property management company, there's just administrative items that need to be handled with that. Preparing to hand things off to the CPA for taxes, so it's very important that you have a electronic system for keeping track of all of the various expenses, all of the reports that are going to need to go to the CPA at the end of the year. So it starts small with, and I did it fairly simply with Excel spreadsheets, but I kept up with it as I went during the year as the reports came in, as expenses came in. I would track them on a Excel spreadsheet and then put the documentation in a folder. So that was there for later, but because I kept up, but on the end of the year, I didn't have to recreate the entire wheel when it was time to turn that over to the CPA.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. This is amazing. And you're listening to me, David Kogan, host of the Eliances Hero Show. Make sure you go to Eliances.com. That's Eliances.com. The only place where entrepreneurs align, because we're speaking with Chris Luithly, the advisory board member with Direct Source Wealth. DirectSourceWealth.com/hero. You could reach him at 877-756-8323. Chris, tell us more about the experience that it's been like being a board member with Direct Source Wealth that has really provided in building wealth. And the lovely thing that's amazing is the key is more time freedom.
You bet. The being a part of the advisory board with Direct Source Wealth gives me great confidence as I transitioned my portfolio of single-family homes. And by the way, this week closed on 6 more. I'm down to 5 with a plan to go to 0. So being on the advisory board, I have a chance to get, kind of underneath the hood, behind the curtain, however you want to describe that, to see how they are performing, how they are evaluating, what they do behind the scenes at Direct Source Wealth to create such a fantastic opportunity that I saw as a chance to, despite the fact I had a great property management company, and as I like to say, I was 95% passive, to go to 100% passive. So being an advisory board member allows me that extra confidence to go, yeah, I'm making the right decision to shift from a large portfolio of single-family homes to then co-investing on the variety of Direct Source Wealth projects that I'm involved with now.
So tell us about that. We've got people out there that are listening. They're going, I've got some money. Maybe I want to start buying a few houses, or maybe I want to go ahead and go with Direct Source Wealth that could be reached at directsourcewealth.com/hero. What would you say to them? Because you now have lived both sides of it.
I think it comes down to their individual goals. Are they in a situation where they're trying to grow and create and build wealth from a relatively modest standpoint, or have they already created wealth where now they're looking to, which one is more important, the growth creation or the time management? And if they're new getting started and they're maybe not an accredited investor, they might want to look at both options. But once you get to the point that you've developed some resources, you've got that income, and time is more important, there's no question, hands down, that I would say you need to check out Direct Source Wealth. And it's very important. As I talked about, I've been investing in real estate since 2003. Prior to that, investing literally 20 years prior to that as well. So anyway, during that time frame of investing, I've learned a lot of lessons, and I learned a lot of things the hard way, that things that did not work out. So by joining forces and combining with the expertise of Direct Source Wealth, you save a lot of that learning curve of going, oops, that's not it. As I like to say, I've done a lot of that's not it, that's not it, that's not it. Ooh, this one's working. I learned by trial and error and much the hard way, and you can get to a finished product with a team of experts that they have at Direct Source Wealth.
That's right, and you heard it firsthand from Chris Luithly, and he should know. He's been also, too, vice commander in the Air Force, so I've got to ask you, we've got just a couple seconds left, but I need to ask you, you've amassed over 3,000 hours of flying time in the F-16, along with hundreds of combat hours. How fast have you flown?
The fastest I've ever gone across the ground is just under 1,500 miles an hour.
Holy cow. Well, incredible. Chris, we appreciate you being here. Continue to stay tuned because we're going to go further into the knowledge that Chris has and share the secrets. Direct Source Wealth is your partner in building wealth and time freedom. Chris found the secret. He's doing it more. DirectSourceWealth.com/hero. Reach him at 877-756-8323. David Kogan with Eliances.